Okay, so after months of deliberating and planning, I can finally announce that I've started building my second dolly. Now, for most of you DIY rig builders, you might know that last year I built a custom PVC-based dolly that runs on tracks, and I love it to bits, and I use it in probably 90% of my videos. But the more I use it, the more I came into problems, especially when I wanted to do some very, very slow tracking shots, as you can see in this video here, is that even the smallest bump can just throw away your footage. And so I knew that sooner or later I'd have to consider building a doorway dolly or getting a doorway dolly. And again, as you know, doorway dolly is very expensive. And so I searched the web for some DIY ideas and eventually came across some relatively inexpensive ideas for a doorway dolly. And that's what I'm building right now. Now, my PVC-based dolly has been fantastic. I've used it in a music video. I've even shot a wedding with it and just various other productions, as you can just see scrolling here on the right. But eventually I knew, you know what, I'd have to build something more stable. So with a doorway dolly, what makes it better is that the cameraman can actually sit on the dolly itself. Already the extra weight just makes it easier to have like smoother tracking without any wobbling. What's become a problem with my dolly currently is that as a cameraman, I now have to track the tripod itself while focusing and also maybe tracking the subject that I'm filming. So this is very difficult, and what makes a doorway dolly much easier or better is that as a cameraman now you can actually sit on the dolly and have someone else pull and push the dolly, and you can just focus on the subject that you're filming and the actual focus. So that's why I'm building this. That's why I'm building this rig. So right now I've just done building two sets of wheels of 4 that I'm going to build. So instead of having 2 wheels on one side, or like let's say the front left, I can have 4 wheels, and this will hopefully then carry the weight of the cameraman. So how I'm going to make it is that I'm using steel to support the wheels, and I was quite fortunate that I had this long steel iron lying around that's in an L-shaped, which just makes things a whole lot easier for me. All I had to do was buy 4 skateboards, and that's what I was going to use for my wheels. And this hole in the middle, that's where I'm going to have a screw going from the wheels to that dolly base. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want this to be able to pivot like this, so I can do some 360 degree turns with the dolly. So this is it. I'm hoping this will solve all my dollying problems because, as I mentioned before, a dolly for me is an indispensable piece of equipment for filmmaking or some form of video productions. So I'm quite excited. I'm hoping to finish this in the next 2 to 3 weeks and hopefully shoot a short film with it. I've got 2 short films that I've written that are just waiting to be shot, and I'm just hoping that this dolly will help me.